Today's Wednesday, July 12th. I'm here Friday with your digital brief. Let's take a look at your top stories today. In the next 3 weeks, a federal grand jury will decide whether or not Rashad Trice, the man accused of kidnapping and murdering 2-year-old Winter Smith, will be sent to trial in federal court. That was decided during his preliminary hearing in Grand Rapids yesterday. Prosecutors revealed text messages between Trice and his father on the night of the alleged kidnapping. His dad sent him multiple text messages asking him to figure things out. Trice responded, quote, "I got to finish this. I love y'all." An hour before he was arrested, investigators say Trice sent a message saying she's gone. If convicted on federal charges, Trice could face the death penalty. Former Detroit Police Chief James Craig says he believes that Rashad Trice should have been in prison for his previous crimes and that the judge in this case ignored their duty to serve and protect the public.
And unfortunately, the real victims are not getting justice. And so we're allowing these violent predatory criminals to get out, stay on the street, and do what we know they will do, is reoffend. There are no consequences. These suspects know it. And sadly, who's holding prosecutors or judges accountable for these horrible decisions? It needs to stop. I've said it time and again, and others have said it, but there's no change.
Trice is back in Ingham County Court later today for a preliminary trial on charges not related to Winter Smith's murder. A verdict has been handed down by a 6-person jury in Pontiac. The legal dispute over Aretha Franklin's estate is what this centers around. They ruled that a 2014 handwritten will found stuffed in her sofa supersedes a previous will from 2010. The jury sided with Franklin's sons, Kelf and Edward, who were in favor of the 2014 will. It makes Kelf the executor of the estate. He will also receive the late singer's home in Bloomfield Hills. Her other son, Ted White, had been fighting for the 2010 version that would have made him the executor. Both handwritten documents were found in the Queen of Soul's home in 2019, months after her death.
I want to exhale right now. It's been a long 5 years for my family, my children, and we just want to exhale.
A judge will now decide if the 2014 will negates the 2010 one entirely. A bench trial is expected to take place on Friday.
The big three is our strike target. And whether or not there's a strike, it's up to Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis, because they know what our priorities are. We've been clear.
Contract talks begin tomorrow between the United Auto Workers Union and Stellantis, and the head of the union is already threatening a strike. Those negotiations between the UAW and Ford begin on Friday, followed by the GM on Tuesday. Meanwhile, in a Facebook Live session, Union President Shawn Fain said if the big three don't give their workers their fair share, then the automakers are choosing strike, and the union is not afraid to take action. Many are expecting a hard fight between both sides, who appear to be far apart. Union leadership looks to increase pay for workers, among other benefits. The current contract expires in September. Let's turn to next weather meteorologist Kylie Miller for a look at that updated forecast.
Severe weather will be possible once again for today. The main hazards are going to be wind damage, hail. Can't rule out having some flooding because a lot of rain is on the way. A spin-up tornado also not out of the question. And as we go through the afternoon, evening hours, the rain is really going to be picking up and intensifying. And we are going to be hearing some rumbles of thunder, embedded thunderstorms, which again could go strong to even severe. High temperatures today in the 70s because of that rain and the cloud cover for today. Back into the 80s for tomorrow, stretching all the way through the beginning of next week. Each and every day for the 7-day outlook, we have a chance for some rain and some storms. But for today, we could see upwards of an inch, even locally higher, of rainfall. So flooding is going to be a concern as we go through the evening hours and especially the early overnight. The window of the strongest storms will be 4 p.m. this afternoon, extending until about midnight. So make sure to stick with us here, your next weather team. We, of course, are going to track it for you and keep you updated.
And that's going to do it for today's digital brief. For weather, news, and sports, we're covering it all for you here on CBS News Detroit, streaming live on the CBS News app and Pluto TV.